So I've got the inner fender well out of the car, and top part doesn't look too bad. Underneath, the gentleman that owned the car last had undercoated the plastic inner fender wells. I'm kind of confused of why undercoat plastic, but it was his car at the time and that's what he chose to do. So what I'm trying to do is scrape all of that off so that I can paint the underside and the top, the satin black, that I'll be painting the rest of the engine compartment with. I'm using a 3M scratch pad basically to take off what I can, and some of the bigger parts, to get them down so far, I'm using a chisel and literally just kind of scraping the chunks off. Now I have noticed that by doing this, that I've scratched the surface of the plastic in a few places with the chisel, but that'll be no big deal. I can take some sandpaper and smooth that back out, or I can just cover it with the primer and then sand what I can see with the primer on it. Not too worried about the underside. The top part I do want to get as smooth and slick as possible. The weather stripping kit that I bought does come with the A-arm covers and staples to put it in. I don't have a stapler big enough to put those staples in, so that may be a trick, or I may have to get a stapler. But this is part of the engine compartment makeover. It's not going to be perfect, it's just something to make it look decent until I put the 455 in. Once that happens, once I get the 350 out, I can go back and smooth everything down and finish it up the way I want. I'm just trying to make it presentable. So after about, 3 hours of work, I still got a little bit to clean off there, but I have washed it off with some dish soap and some water. See what I had. Now, while I'm here, I'm taking out these staples, and this is kind of tricky just because of how thick or strong the staples are, however you want to look at that. I'm taking a screwdriver and I'm getting under them and prying them out enough to get a pair of needle nose pliers on them, which is kind of a pain in the butt. Bending them out, kind of like I have that one. Once you do that, with a little finesse, get under them with a screwdriver, maybe. Of course, this one's going to be a pain. I'm trying to show you. And pull them out, and I'll take a toothbrush and clean out the track. That way, when I put the new A-arm cover on there, it'll the staples will go back in the same hole. Okay, I've got my wheel wells cleaned up for the most part. Got my second coat of satin black and Krylon. I like the satin black because it's not glossy, kind of gives you that OEM look. And again, before I painted anything, I used the Color Palace gray primer. Sanded down my scratches that I made. Some of them are still visible, but without taking away a lot of plastic, a lot of the OEM indentions. I didn't want to sand on it too much. The underside is scratched up like crazy, and I've worked on it for about an hour and a half trying to get it straightened out, but I just did a little too much damage with the chisel. When I go clean the other one up, I guess I'll do it all by hand with the Scotch-Brite pad or something. That way I don't have the big gouges in it. But stay tuned and start working on the engine compartment as soon as I get this fender well and the other fender well cleaned up.